What's up, guys?
That thing is in the back.
Oh, bloopers. Oh, let's start crack-a-lacking here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I have Faith with me.
Yes.
Faith, tell us about yourself.
My name is Faith. what do I say? I'm Anzala's friend. Yeah. What else? And we're filming this video. This long-awaited video.
Okay, so so today's video is going to be about our experience in boarding school, like how our friendship is like kind of weird to explain. Like it's a long story.
Yeah.
Like to explain like how we got to like now.
Yeah. And I don't even think we have like a meeting point. You know how like people usually have that meeting story of like, oh, you're in the front of this. We just kind of knew each other over time because we lived together.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. How did we meet?
Okay. My version.
Yeah.
So obviously we went to the same boarding school, and in boarding school like we all lived together, right? Faith was in A class, so our sections were A, B, and C. I was in C, she was in A. Yeah. Like I knew of Faith, but because we're not in the same A, B, and C class, like we don't hang out around. Like I didn't have any problem with Faith or anything. I just we just didn't. Like we're not running in the same circle. She was in A class, she was in a different hostel. Yeah. All that stuff. And then I feel like maybe when we got to SS1, when we got the opportunity to be in the exchange program, that was like when we started like actually spending time together. Right. So like there was never like one, okay, this is how we met. Right? Yes. It's just like, so when we got to be on the exchange program, that was like when we started like spending a little bit more time together and became like actual friends, you know?
Mine is actually very different. Mine goes back a little
Oh my gosh! Okay,
I think mine was just two.
Okay.
Was Christina your seatmate? Or was it Pauline Kate?
I think it was... Actually, I don't remember.
Not just one, but just two. Yeah. But I know you were in the front seat of your class.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But so
if you are my siding, just to let me know.
We have no idea. And so the thing was, well, when we went to our secondary school, our boarding school, it's kind of like different people from everywhere, you know. So it's like when I was in primary school, I used to be one of those students that I was always the top 3 students, and I was used to it. And so when we went to a boarding school, it was like it was like a diverse group of girls from different parts of the country, right? So the competition was a little high. And so at the end of just one, I looked at my result, and I mean, I wasn't in the top 5 or anything, and I wasn't even in the top 10, so which got me a little worried. And so for some reason, I kind of took the time to like just investigate who are the people who were close to me, like in the position we got. And Azala was one of the people that was close to the grade that I got.
I was in the top 5.
Yeah, but I was like, but that was just besides the point. And I remember in just two, I really wanted to know who were my competitors. It was just kind of like, that's just usually how I am. And so I remember seeing Azala, and I was like, is this Anzala? And I was like, you know, she was just a lot more smaller, and like, you know, so that's kind of when I just knew you, because like usually I didn't really pay attention just one, but just two I kind of paid attention and I knew. And then it was kind of like we're from the same state, and her dad is I found out was a professor, and my sister actually knows your dad. And so it was kind of like, okay, I had an idea of who she was, but we weren't really friends or anything. So, but it was like definitely during the exchange program that we got to know each other for sure.
That was good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever mentioned my real name on my YouTube before.
Really? You know, yeah, people call you Z.
We got crab legs, we got lobster, we got headless shrimp, we got corn.
I love
corn. We got boiled egg, and then we have some spring rolls here. So
wait. Right, so my first question, what do you want to go for?
This is your third question.
It's true.
I mean, ask whose decision was it to send you to Lydia or Fatima or boarding school?
Ooh, well, I'm like, you're the first child.
Yeah.
I'm like the third girl.
Yeah.
And two of my sisters already went there.
Oh, okay. Makes
So,
sense.
but it wasn't like it was a must for me to go to the school.
Yeah.
But the idea of boarding school was kind of like a no-brainer in our family. It wasn't something that they spoke against. My dad went to boarding school, my mom did, all my sisters did. And I just wanted to because, it's just getting out of the house and giving me that responsibility at an early age. So
Yeah.
so it was kind of a no-brainer. I had other schools that I wanted to go to, but I loved my sisters so much that I kind of wanted to be like them in some way.
But your sisters weren't in the school when you.
No, they had
Right.
already graduated.
Right.
But I kind of wanted to be associated with them, that we all went to the same school.
Yeah.
And Fatima was kind of
Yeah.
somewhere that we went. Fatima was kind of like the school to compete with the kids that went there, the girls. Yeah. I didn't, not the whole idea of it being a whole girls school, but I honestly didn't care at the time. I just wanted to go because my sisters went.
Okay.
And I passed the exams to get in, so yeah. What about you?
My parents went to boarding school, and I guess they kind of thought, it would be a great idea for me to go to boarding school as well.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I had a choice in the matter. But then you're in how old were we? 11, 10. What do we know
10.
about choosing school? I was kind of happy, honestly, to be away from, because my family lived an hour away from where the school was. So I was kind of happy to be away from where I grew up anyways. So, it was fine, basically. So every time you go to school, starting up as just one student, you always have a school mother. I had a school mother.
Who was it?
Faith Alta was her name.
I remember her.
She was so nice. The sweetest person, honestly. She was really so sweet, really so nice. Like, she was never one of those seniors that you hear them coming and then you go another direction. She was never one of those people.
You fear for your life.
She was so nice, so sweet, never took advantage of me. My first 24 hours was spent under her
Yeah.
guidance.
How did you get to choose?
I think the house people choose for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. My sister chose mine.
Oh.
Evelyn Catton was my school mother, and
Right.
she
Is she
knew.
married now?
Yeah, and she's a baby.
Oh.
I was supposed to be the flower girl of the wedding. I was like, I'm gonna go do flower girl for a wedding, but that's besides the point. Go ahead. But I actually went to school that first day with Faith. Well, we came together. Well, I think she came earlier before me, but the whole idea was
So Faith is one
Faith
of.
Circuit knew just me. It was
Okay.
like you and Pauline kids.
There was 5 Faiths in our set.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Faiths
Actually, there's
in the
more
school.
than 5.
There
Yeah.
was a lot of Faiths
Faith
in our
is a
school.
name in Nigeria that's
Very
in every
common.
10 people there's a Faith. And that's why now my friends call me Zabi.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the name, my middle name, became kind of like a first name thing, because there were way too many Faiths and you needed to identify. But
Anytime you
but we
say
just call
Faith, you have to say the last name.
you have to
of
say the
person,
last name.
but-
So we're kind of on a first and last name basis when we're in secondary school, because yeah, it's just a thing. But yeah, so I came with Faith Turkey, and she might disagree with this, but she was crying on the first day that she was to go home. It was time for night prayer, and we did not know that they would count for you to get out of the hostel. They ring the bell, time for prayer, and they would go. The senior would just come out and say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Please.
I was so,
Please, that's a trigger for me.
I was so confused. What the hell is going on? And I think the just listening were just staring. And then they were like, if you're not outside by the count of 10, you're going to be punished.
But it was so good because they used
let
to
us go.
forgive us.
Yeah, they
for
let the just
the
one-
first week. Or
Yeah,
first
the
2 weeks.
first 2 weeks.
I'm not used to it.
They're
yet.
like, just one girls, you can go, and so we left. But then I saw them beat the shit out of people, and I was like, is this what I signed up for? And I think Faith was like, she wants to go home. And so it was just a very stressful evening for me because I was like, well, here I am with somebody who wants to go home and I know we're not going home. And then it's like, well, you can be punished for anything you do. And I was like, this is about to be a long 3 months. So, yeah.
What would you say is the biggest impact that boarding school has had on you?
Definitely independence. I think even if we were like kids, I don't know, we were worrying about like important things that you would function on a daily basis, like a schedule, discipline, you know, time, like time consciousness and time management. We learned time management at an early age. Like we knew that we had 2 hours to study. So you needed to manage that 2 hours to get all your assignments done and study for a test maybe that you had. And then we had like allocated time for prayer. So it was like that routine, even if it was like repeated every day, every week, it gave me a sense of management that anytime I needed to plan something, I would say, okay, I should probably do it on Thursday since we don't have prep or something. I should probably, you know, things like that. So I think it was probably like management for me. That's something that I definitely took out of it. And then maybe like living with people. I think it prepared me for like the whole exchange program thing, learning about different people from different backgrounds. Like, cause we lived with them. We didn't have a choice. Like if someone's routine was this, you couldn't just go and change them. Like you just dealt with it and things like that. But yeah. But I think management is definitely the first thing that just like comes to mind that I could have taken away. What about you? Trauma.
PTSD, y'all. I think overall it made me more, it made change easier.
Yeah.
Like adapting to change easier.
Exactly.
Like now, big changes don't really faze me. Like moving to a different state or moving to a whole different country or having to move houses. Like big changes don't scare me.
Yeah, it's kind of like do it that thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you didn't think twice about it.
It's just like, I think one of the biggest impacts is that like big changes don't faze me anymore. Because it
That's
just prepares you
point.
to adapt to different things very quickly. And because at that point you didn't have any choice but to adapt to whatever was happening. So
Yeah,
that was my thing.
for sure. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah. Like, my question is, going off of that, do you think that the way the boarding school was set up for us was to make us succeed or fail? And would you do it again if we were to turn back the clock?
You know, that's a good question because I don't know. I guess, at that age, I didn't really understand what the point of most of the things that we did were. Especially with concerning spirituality and like, and praying.
I almost choked on my beer.
I didn't understand what the whole point of a lot of things were, you know. So I wouldn't say at that point I realized that this is all setting me up for success. There's definitely a lot of positives that have come out of going to boarding school, but I don't know that. There's good things and there's bad things. The best things being like some of my best friends and my longtime friends are me. That's where we met. You know, that's where you meet most of your long-term best friends. So, like, I'm appreciative of that. You know, but I don't think I would do that again. Because it was such. I used to say my boarding school was prison. Anytime I used to say when I was in prison. Anytime I'm referring back to boarding school, I say when I was in prison because it felt like a prison. It literally did. So I would not do it again. No.
I feel like the environment, it didn't set us up to fail, but at the same time, it didn't set us up to be ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we were, like there's nothing wrong like with, like, I mean, our background is Catholic, so it's a Catholic boarding school, so we kind of know a lot of the routines. It's just we don't do it that constantly every single day.
Yeah.
But I feel like
What do you mean, like then or now?
no, then like even outside of school,
Yeah.
we don't pray rosary every single day of your life, except if you're like in block rosary or something. But it was kind of like creativity wasn't like acknowledged, you know, like routine was the way. Like you have to do things in a routine. You
I
do
feel
it a
like we
certain
were
way.
over scheduled.
Yeah, we were. Our time was scheduled. Like
The
we
whole
had
time.
We woke up at 4:30 in the morning. You were out of the dorm at 5:30, and you were at church. You were at the chapel for mass and things like that. That when it was time for classes, you take the period that you want. You don't choose what to do and what not to do. You have to do it as scheduled. And you know, just those things that it didn't allow people, like when I think of things, like think of like someone like Adeswa, for example. She was very creative with writing stories and things like that. But we used to hide those stories from teachers. Like if people found like the kind of things they wrote about, you would be punished for it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Like
that.
anytime they wrote things,
I wasn't a super creative person,
yeah.
so I'm
Like I mean, we just like had friends
Yeah.
or classmates that were creative on. They wrote magazines, like stories about like I don't know, just like fiction, right? And yeah, maybe one or two things would involve like nudity stories and things like that. But it was kind of like an escape for so many people.
yeah.
And when they write it, we will read it, but we always hid it. Like if a teacher found a book like that, they would be like, "Who wrote this?" And then they would punish you for it.
Yeah.
You know, so things like that weren't like acceptable, and we couldn't be ourselves. We were like, we had to pretend like we were the do-gooder,
Yeah.
whatever that shit was, you know. And we had to talk a certain way too. Like you couldn't speak like pidgin English in Fatima.
Oh, yeah.
Like you had to speak proper English. People couldn't curse.
Really?
No.
I don't remember. I don't know what happened. I don't remember all
She
this.
blocked that away. People don't, you know, like you try to be proper.
I compartmentalize a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I'm a traumatized human being, so like
Yeah.
I just
It's kind of like you were pretending to be something you're not.
yeah. Which brings me to my next question. How did boarding school affect your relationship with men? Also, we went to an all-girls boarding school, just
Yeah.
by the way. So, how did it affect your relationship
Like,
with men?
Hungry men. we're high on men, even while we were in school. But I don't know for other people, but the whole idea of like boys when we were in boarding school was like that's what people wanted to talk about, you know. But how did it affect my relationship? I feel like maybe I'm probably just a different breed of person. That
And I felt that too, cause like you were
yeah.
outside of school, you
Yeah.
were also very like
Yeah,
social.
I was very social and personable. So I wasn't like a lot of them were just my friends, and I just didn't care for that type of thing. So like I was a different kind of person, and I would introduce them to my like people we went to school with.
Yeah.
Which is so weird because like I didn't find interest in things like that. I just had normal friendships. And that's literally the kind of person I was. But the school is not like that, you know? People are like hungry on men. They see one guy shows up to school. They're like, oh, there's a boy in school.
Why?
Who is it? Who did he come to see?
Men.
Yeah. It didn't really do much for me. I was a very good person. I'm just kidding. Nah, I just didn't care for things like that at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
During my whole time,
I want to hear this. Because that was a very mysterious part of Nzala.
was it?
I think
How
so.
is that mysterious?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe just perception of like.
Oh,
no,
we should
no.
do a perceptions video.
Yeah, like like those pre notion of.
So
who
what was
you
your
were.
what was your pre?
I don't know. I just felt like I don't know. I think maybe because my thought of like your background clouded your personality to me.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like I don't know. When I started to know you, I got to know your family. So it was kind of a I wouldn't talk to this person type of thing or whatever. Like I didn't really know her in that area. So I think maybe it clouded it for me. So yeah, this would be good. This is me hearing. When I heard Inzala had a boyfriend one time, I didn't believe
When was
it.
this?
After school.
Who's my boyfriend?
I don't know, who's that? The one you took to prom with or whatever.
Oh, please, he
Yeah.
wasn't my
I
boyfriend.
was like,
Oh, there's a whole story about that.
I don't believe it.
Anyways, yeah. So my first 4 years of boarding school, I didn't have a lot of guy friends, and even when I went home, I didn't really hang around anybody per se because, like, before I went out, I gotta ask for permission. I gotta like my parents were very strict, so I didn't really hang out around anybody that wasn't a girl, basically.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to hang out around any guys, I had to sneak around to do that.
Broke my nails.
I didn't have a lot of guy friends,
Yeah.
you know, that were like my friends, you know.
Mm.
When we got to
Okay.
the exchange year,
Yeah. Okay, before you get into that, so since you didn't have that much, do you think that it kind of being in Fatima affected the way you related with them?
in the first 6 months, yeah.
Okay.
Because I wasn't used to getting attention from boys.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody texting you all the time.
Yeah.
It's easy to have conversation with girls because you've been around girls, you live with girls, like it's easy to understand girls. But with guys, because I didn't also have a lot of guy friends and I wasn't hanging around a lot of boys, like that was my first experience, like trying to have relationship with men, you know, that weren't like my brother, my cousin, or my dad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first 6 months were very, very tough because I was very, very naive and I was just learning everything new. So like I got hurt a lot,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to say no. Like I always say yes, 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 even if I didn't want to say yes. So
That sounds rough.
yeah, it was a rough 6 months. But after those 6 months, I
Which
think
6 months are we talking about? Was it 6 months after Fatima? Or,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
6 months after Fatima.
Oh.
Yeah, because the next year I came here. So
Yeah. She left Nigeria. All
is
right.
it you next or me? It's you next.
So, tell me how our exchange program kind of changed, because we had to come back for SS3. How did you feel like it was okay for you to go through that last year after like the experience of like coming to the States and seeing a whole different culture and things that kind of worked for you, like your ideology and stuff, and then coming back to Nigeria and going
Yeah.
back to Fatima, and then going back to that same routine? How did it affect that last year for you?
It was a hard transition in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of things I wasn't willing to let go of.
Yeah.
So obviously when you're young and you go to a different country where people speak English, but they're speaking English in a different accent, your intonation kind of changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I call it code switching, right? We can code switch. When we're speaking to Nigerian people, we can speak
Still do that till
with the
today.
Nigerian accent. But then when we're speaking to people that are like Americans or just from a different place, like you kind of code switch, you speak more American.
Kind of
so
like
that-
this.
Yeah. It's not that you're ashamed of your accent
No.
or anything. It's just that I get tired of people asking me, what did you say? What? Say that again.
Yeah.
So it's just easier for me to code switch and just like get it over and done with, because I don't like repeating myself 5 times.
And I think that's what people don't understand, that
Yeah.
you have to do. You know, like even when I go back to Nigeria, like for some reason, like it just comes to me. It's a thing, and I am appreciative that we can do that. Like we can just code switch and speak like we've been in Nigeria the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't have the time for you to be saying, hey, huh, what are you saying? Things like that to me. Like, I honestly don't have that kind of patience. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It just shows that you are bilingual. Like, that's just who you are. You're not from the same country, and you're just adjusting to the environment.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
It was the whole code switching thing for me, and there are certain things that like were acceptable in the US that were not probably accept. Like for example, this is silly, but like like Uggs, like the shoe.
The shoe Uggs.
Uggs.
Yeah.
I wore that one time, like, cause when I got back, I did summer school.
I feel like I know it. Go ahead.
And I wore my Uggs to school, and they laughed at me.
Did
for
you
wearing...
wear it to Fatima?
No, I didn't wear it to Fatima.
Isn't it those ones that it's like the back is covered too? It's like the low.
Uggs.
Yeah. I remember the Uggs.
boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you wore the boots.
The boots
itself?
Uggs. Yeah.
But you had the flat ones.
The moccasins.
The moccasins.
I had the moccasins, but I wore the boots Uggs, and people laughed at me for wearing. Like, they didn't understand why it was cold.
Yeah.
Uggs are meant to keep your feet warm, right?
Yeah.
So like people like simple stuff like that. And I remember even at one point, like I was very unwielding on, cause like I feel like I had gone somewhere and experienced like somewhat of a better life and a better experience of things. And when I got back, I didn't want to accept anything less than better, because I knew there's better. So why shouldn't I experience better?
Yeah.
I remember at one point my dad was telling me, "You're not in America anymore."
Yeah.
I
know that whole statement of, you're not in America. You cannot do that one here. That whole thing. It was. I mean, I get it. I get where they're coming from and stuff, but you don't settle for less. And that's the thing that people don't understand.
Yeah.
There is better. There is better. And yes, Nigeria, there's nothing wrong with Nigeria. I love going back home and things like, but it's just that there are things for me that this is my okay. This is what I'm okay with. This is what I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
You don't have the patience, and I just, you choose to put yourself in the environment that's healthy for you.
Yeah, for example, like if I went to a hotel, right, and I didn't like the way the bathroom was, I'm very very particular about what I like. I know I can have better. Like it's the same way you will not eat soup with one meat or half meat. Like, I'm very particular about certain things. If I went and let's say like they didn't make the bed, or there's still dirt in the room, I'm paying for a room. Of course I'm gonna ask somebody to come and clean. I'm not going to swallow it. Like, I'm paying money to be here, so you might as well give me the best service possible. And that was like kind of like a rude shock to some people. Like, how dare you demand for from people to come and clean your room? I'm paying for it. I might as well. Right? It's just stuff like that. So
I think even the issue with like money too, like even the whole, because like when we went back home, like when you just buy something that you need, you know what I mean? And some people make that whole, because you have to go to America and come back, you think you can
something
spend money.
like what?
Like let's say you wanted to, let's say, good example. You want to do stuff with your friends, right? And you want to pick somewhere nice. Like, oh, there's this place that I heard of that's nice. I think we should go, right? Then it's like kind of like this. The reaction is not like we shouldn't be going there just because like we're not on that kind of level type of thing. It's like
that's
people,
the reaction.
Yeah, like people felt like you could do something like that because you've maybe gone to abroad or whatever. And then it's like, we're just gonna deal with what we already have and stuff like that. Like, it was just, hanging out with people was different. It was kind of like, it felt like you always had to either act a certain way just because like whatever, I'm okay with this. Yeah. But I don't want to do things like I don't just want to go to somebody's house and stay there for 10 hours. Like I want to go out, pay to do something. Yeah. But when the idea of paying to do something comes up, it's kind of like, oh, we're not going to do it because we have to pay. Yeah. And which is fine, it's it's just what you do.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, that was like. Did you maintain the friends that you had?
In boarding school?
Yeah, till today? Or did you feel like a lot of those relationships just kind of simmered away?
So honestly, my definition of friend
Yeah.
is different than a lot of people's definition of friend. And maybe like some people, like everybody they know is their friend. To me, like when I say, like, don't get it twisted, I have a lot of friends. Nobody should get offended. Because they always hear me say I have no friends. Like, I don't. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. It's just like, okay. So back to your question, right? Yeah. When I was in Fatima, I had a lot of, like, I knew a lot of people. When I see my friend, I mean, if I cannot come to you and tell you about what I'm going through, like mentally, like. Well, let me just say close. Let me just say close friend, right? Mm-hmm. Like I only had 2 close friends during my whole time I was in Fatima, Pauline and Irene. Those are my 2 closest friends when I was in. I have a lot of friends. Like I know a lot of people. Very good, very chill with a lot of people. Yeah. But those are my 2. Those are the people that we talked about everything with. Those were the 2 people I talked about everything with. Yeah. Obviously, my first friend, Pauline, she left in just 2, right? Mm. So then Irene was not a replacement, but
Irene actually a replacement.
No, I love Irene. It's just okay. So then the rest of the time I was there was Irene, right?
Yeah.
Me and Irene, she's still my best friend to this day. We'll always be friends till forever.
Yeah.
So other people, I feel like it depends on where we are. Like it just depends. Like I'm still friends with some people. Fibo, Chidera,
Rachel.
Dorcas, Rachel, like we're all cool, right?
Yeah.
But then when it comes to like, can you talk about like the things that matter with certain people? That's important to me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it just depends, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So
which is great. Like
my main core friends, I'm still friends, very good friends with Pauline.
Yeah.
Very good friends with Irene. Those are my G's, one of my best friends till this day. Like nothing has changed. Our relationship has gotten stronger, if not anything. But the rest of the people, it just depends.
Yeah.
Like I'm not pressed about any of
right
either. So
totally.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, mine's very different because of the kind of person I was in secondary school. Like I was very sociable, but not like.
She was one of the popular people.
No.
She hung out with everybody. Everybody. Me, I didn't hang out with everybody.
It's funny because
everybody.
It's not like I was friends with everyone. I just had like different relationships with everyone, and depending on what phase I was in my life at that point, that's the person I interacted with. But I had like maybe like 2 or 3 friends that were there,
like your core.
All through the time. But it was secondary school, and maybe actually it's so funny because like I had like there were different groups, like Fifth Circuit. We grew up, we went to primary school together, so like that relationship is just there from the roots. We lived in the same area and thing. But someone like Anne was a relationship that I built in Fatima that came outside of Fatima, and it stayed that way. Like the only person that I keep in communication every week, we talk, and it's not because we try. It's just like that, and our families have actually built that relationship. Like our moms are now close because of us. Yeah, and it's just that's that kind of relationship. When I was in and that's the funny thing too that kind of leaks off till today, because I had different relationships with people in different phases of my life. It kind of comes out, meaning that if someone talks to me today, like I have a way to relate with them because I've had that kind of relationship. I don't have to keep in communication with these people. Like when I went back to Nigeria, I would reach out and like, let's meet, things like that. But it's not like core every day, and that's okay because everybody is in a different phase in their lives, and I respect that. There are just some people that relationship transcends till today, and just some people it doesn't. Like I had more friends in Fatima than I do out of Fatima now. Yeah. Maybe just like very few. Do you own
I'd be cool. I'm cool with a lot of people, but I'm just I don't have a lot of energy, right? Because conversing with people, socializing with people, that's a lot of energy that you have to put into
a lot
people.
Of time.
A lot of it's not even the time, it's just energy, and my energy is always on I don't want to say like on E or like on reserve, but like I
It's
don't
usually
have,
like 10%.
I don't have a lot of energy. So
Yeah.
like anytime I feel like a boost of energy, then I'm like, oh, let me call this person, let me call this
Yeah.
person. But I can only do that once every often, right? So
Yeah.
nobody like don't get offended if I'm not like texting you. If like we're cool. I just don't have a lot of energy. I don't know if anybody can like relate, but like I don't have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
My energy goes like this, and I have to recharge very often. Like
Yeah.
recharge very often, and the energy I have is only for the small circle of like the small group of people that I keep
Yeah.
close to me, and those are the only people I can consistently give energy to. If I add 2-3 more people into the mix, like there's less energy for everybody.
That's too much.
So
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of energy, so I'm
And I think
cool
mental
with-
health plays a huge part
Yeah.
of it too. Like literally, that's like
Yeah.
because it's you just don't have that time. You don't have that time. Which the plug in the next video we're gonna do probably talk about a little bit of that, like mental health and just where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like one of the things coming out of which is kind of a stinker, like because of Fatima, because of how much people we knew and just lived with, it's kind of a I want to be okay that if I see you outside, I can just keep it pushing. Like I don't want to feel obligated to
Well,
to
you know
to
how
interact.
you know how Americans, right? Like
Yeah.
most Americans, like let's say you've done a whole class, like
Yeah.
like in school you've been like in the same class the
Yeah.
whole semester.
Yeah.
You could see you on the street tomorrow and don't even blink
Yeah.
and be like, they're not gonna say hi
It's
or
very
anything.
normal. I mean, if you say hi to them, they will say hi. It's not
Right,
like
but-
anything bad. It's just
Like
I'm
I don't know
moving
you.
on.
Yeah,
It's like,
moving on.
yeah.
I don't know that there. I feel like if you say hi to me, I'll say hi
I
back.
will.
But I'm not gonna go out of my way to
Yeah.
like.
And but you know, like people take that in a different light, in a like Fatima, like
Yeah.
people would just think you're being disrespectful,
No.
and it's not. It's just your peace. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's some people that I see, and I would literally say hi. It's good to see you, and that's it. Like that's the last thing I will say. I will not exceed the conversation. I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
And there's not like, and people need to be okay with that, you know. And that's kind of like the stinker that I put it, that when you come out of an environment like that, people just feel like you should be obligated
You know how
to
like
maintain those relationships.
I think there's one thing we didn't even talk about is like how there is the whole junior senior like type of thing going on, right? So it's like, what does your relationship with your like with juniors outside of school look like, and what does relationship with your seniors outside of school look like?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, from the time I was in JS1 to when I was in SS1, I was oppressed. Please, all the senior students used to most of the senior students to oppress us. We're so oppressed. This like there's obviously there not all of them were like oppressing us obviously, but like there's
The whole
certain
thing was-
like at what point do you let it go? Like do you say like okay like whatever, like it was secondary school, everybody was power hungry or whatever it
Yeah.
was, because I couldn't understand why some people would do like what they were doing.
Yeah, that's my phone. And you know what's funny too? Like, and it sounds so terrible to say, but like, because of that experience, there's some people that I see till today that I swear to God, I will not be able to say hi. And it's not because like I hate you today, but it's like that trigger when I see you. It's like the pain and anger just like comes right back, and I think of you as that person today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm learning to move on from things like that, but it's like,
Well, I feel like
you fucked up my mental health.
yeah,
You
but I
know?
feel like you know how we want to give people that like we're in senior class or whatever, because
Yeah.
I can hardly remember any juniors.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can hardly remember any
Yeah.
juniors. But like in senior class, like what was I even going to say? Like I feel like the person I was in SS3 or being at where you have the most power in your
Yeah.
whole senior
Oh my God,
secondary
I
school
cared
life,
less
right?
about it. Yeah.
The person I was then is the person I still am today.
Yeah.
Like, or like you know, most obviously
Yeah.
evolved in certain ways, but like
Yeah.
the way I treated people that were like junior, like it's still
Yeah.
the person I am today. So it makes it hard to like translate that into other people that were oppressing other people when you
Yeah.
meet them outside. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of you. Like, are
Yeah.
you still that person somewhere inside?
That's actually a good
Or-
point too. I think that is very much true, but you know the funny thing is they're different. I've come across so many seniors that like either they're shy or embarrassed in a way to say hi to you outside of school. I've met a few. And I respect you, right? But the respect is different. It's not like a oppressed respect I'm giving you because I felt oppressed in school.
Yeah.
But like outside of school, it's kind of like I still give you that respect, not because like you're my senior by age or whatever, but just because that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still have some. I don't have any I don't have any relationship with any junior, like a friend's relationship. I have them on social media and I will say hi and things like that, but I don't have that relationship with them. But I have that respect for where you are. You know, it's like, if we see each other across the street, there's no bad blood. Like you said, the way you were in SS3 is probably, you're still
it's
just
still the
that.
way I am. So I don't know, like it's hard to reconcile that with like other people that were very, very different and very, very like, I don't know what's the word to give, like
Wicked.
people that were very wicked in, like when they were in the place where they had the utmost power, it's like, are you still that kind of person? Are you like, there's some people that just like I think actually that's even a big part of this sit down too. The biggest part of our experience is the senior junior life. Yeah.
Because we had different seniors in just 1, just 2, up until SS2, but
it got better.
We didn't stay SS2.
I know.
When it could have been bad. When it could have been the worst.
Yeah.
We weren't there.
You know how always SS2 and SS3 don't like each other. I think that goes for
every
school.
So I think it really shapes your experience. But it's kind of weird because my SS1, I had a great time over there because it was their Rita Ojo.
She was friends with those seniors.
Yeah, and you know I have a way of, I still have good relationships with those people that were my seniors.
Hey guys, so I decided to cut the video into 2, so this was the first part and I will upload the second part shortly. Bye.